Hey everyone, I know Isaiah's been kind of harsh this week, so now we're ending with some words of encouragement. Oh, Yahweh, you are my God. I will exalt you. I will praise your name. For you have done wonderful things, plans formed of old, faithful and sure. For you have been a refuge to the poor, a refuge to the needy in their distress, a shelter from the rainstorm and shade from the heat. On this mountain, Yahweh of hosts will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wines, of rich food filled with marrow, of well-aged wine strained clear. And he will destroy on this mountain the shroud that is cast over all peoples, the covering that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death forever. Then the Lord Yahweh will wipe away the tears from all faces, and the disgrace of his people he will take away from all the earth, for Yahweh has spoken. It will be said on that day, "See, this is our God. We have waited for him so that he might save us. This is Yahweh for whom we have waited. Let us be glad and rejoice in his salvation." So what's wrong with us? That's the question that I think the prophets are attempting to diagnose. And they've said plenty of things that are wrong, but really they're naming symptoms, things like injustice. And we want to dig deeper and think, well, but what's the root cause behind all of that? And one big picture answer that Scripture gives is that the root is the fear of death. Because we're all afraid to die, so we turn to easy checklist religion, right? And do it for whatever God we think will give us the best deal. Or we put too much trust in authorities or earthly powers who are probably more likely to kill us than to save us. Or we build walls around ourselves with money or intelligence or appearances that we think will keep us safe, but none of them last. All these things we do to try and keep death at bay, but we can't stop it like that. And when we say death, we're not just talking about what happens, the big one at the end. It's, in some sense, every loss or suffering that we experience. Because in some way, every little loss is a subtle reminder that all of this is going to go away someday. And so Isaiah says it's like a shroud that covers us. It keeps us from fully seeing and experiencing life. And in one sense, godly wisdom calls us to make peace with this fact. As we say in Lent, from dust you were made, to dust you'll return. Or we see in wisdom literature the idea of, having the Lord teach us to number our days. But the hope that the prophets call us to is more than just a stoic acceptance of an unfortunate truth. They call us to trust in the only one who has power over death. Because death actually is an enemy. And the prophets say that one day God will defeat it. Here we have a description, and I don't know how literal you want to take it, of this feast with meat and wine. I don't know, the idea of a huge party at the end is pretty good. It's a pretty consistent picture of where God is taking the story. Whatever it will be, it'll be for all people, Isaiah says. Because if death is our common enemy, then life is our common destiny.